In recent weeks, federal officials have put multiple Democratic lawmakers and local leaders in handcuffs. Now, at least one lawmaker is taking steps to protect himself from being targeted. Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell has taken out a liability insurance policy on himself as the Trump administration has taken on high-profile legal fights with its political opponents. And those legal fights include a case against a Michigan or a Wisconsin judge who faces charges of obstructing federal agents during an immigration operation. There's the arrest of Congresswoman LaMonica McIver, and there's Newark Mayor Ross Baraka that was outside an immigration facility, as well as the handcuffing of Senator Alex Padilla during a news conference for Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. And just this week, there was the detainment of New York City Comptroller and mayoral candidate Brad Lander at a Manhattan courthouse. There's so many names to go through here. For more on all this, let's bring in CBS News Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane. Scott, what a list, right? What exactly, let's start with the top, though. What exactly has Congressman Swalwell done, and what could this do to protect him and his family from?
Eric Swalwell is no stranger to a courtroom. He was a former prosecutor in Alameda, California. He was an impeachment manager in the first Trump impeachment in 2020, and he had actually filed a civil suit against the president seeking damages on behalf of him and others for the January 6th U.S. Capitol insurrection. But he told CBS News he has obtained liability insurance, which is something a lot of companies get when they're concerned about legal troubles down the road, and certain individuals get if they're concerned about legal troubles down the road. And other reporting from other outlets say Swalwell is not the only Democrat to do so amid this concern about a mechanization of federal agencies toward arresting, handcuffing, or detaining elected officials. There have been 5. You name them all. The question is, will there be more?
On that note, what have you found in this recent uptick in arrests and those officials being handcuffed?
Yeah, the White House told CBS News there's a consistent thread. These people are accused of breaking the law. In one case, Congresswoman McIver's case on May 9th in Newark, she's accused of putting hands on police during a confrontation outside the Delaney immigration facility. Ms. McIver's office says this is politically motivated and a meritless case. But you could see some cases breaking off from the others. Alex Padilla was handcuffed on camera, was not detained, was not arrested. Congresswoman McIver was. She faces a felony and the prospect of prison time. She'll appear in court later this month, denies the accusations. The judge, Hannah Dugan, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, charged with obstructing federal agents. She's accused of rerouting a criminal defendant from her courtroom in Milwaukee away from awaiting would-be deportation agents outside. She's pleaded not guilty, and CBS News has learned her trial date, which was set for July 21st, has just been taken off the calendar. The judge who's the defendant in this case, Judge Dugan, has filed a motion to dismiss this case, arguing it was a lawless prosecution by the Department of Justice, that she was exercising her powers as a judge in her courtroom. The federal court wants to hear her motion to dismiss before they put that trial back on the calendar.
And this certainly stands out. Tell me, just how different is this, though, from what we've seen in the past? How does this hold up in history?
It's a good question, because we've seen some civil disobedience by elected officials before, which ends up with a handcuffing or an arrest, but they typically what they call no paper those cases. It's a prosecutor term for they don't file criminal charges, they let the person go. Civil rights icon John Lewis from Georgia had a number of civil disobedience protests as an elected official that resulted in that type of outcome. But providing felony charges, that's a different world, and Democrats are arguing this is a weaponization by the Trump administration, which argues the reverse, that this was law-breaking and that it was the Biden administration that weaponized the government. You see the bottom line here. This is just inflaming an already toxic political moment.
Well, we always appreciate your insight. Scott MacFarlane, thank you very much.